Hey guys, this is Calories, aka Offline, and today I'll be explaining to you guys how to play your Retribution Paladin in PVE content rating. Gonna talk about glyphs, gonna talk about talent, gonna talk about rotation, stats, so on and so forth. So, generally, you want to know that Rit Paladins nowadays are really fun to play. You'll do good damage, good DPS, and you'll compete with the other melee and casters. At the same time, it's not as boring as it used to be, so that's on the upside. Let's just jump to it fast. So, in talent, you wanna stack mastery. That's your main stat that you're gonna look forward to stack it. You'll see most of my items has mastery. Um, because basically the mastery what it does, it'll increases the percentage of the damage for most of your um, you know abilities that uses holy power. For example, Crusader Strike either generate or consume. Templar Verdict, you have Exorcism, you have Hammer of Wrath. All of these will, you know, be beneficial to increases your damage if you stack mastery. After mastery, you're looking for multi-strike because having an extra ability in hit will always increase damage and DPS. Some people might go for the haste cap, which is 9%, but you'll find out going further into the mythic progress that very low items, short items actually, will drop a haste. You'll see, some items of versatility. So, you'll drop your percentage to 5 or 6%, but that's about it, which is fine. Then crit, and lastly, you know, you, last thing is haste. So basically, mastery, multi strike, crit, haste. If you want to get haste cap, that's different case, but generally, that's how the rotation goes here. Versatility as well. It's not something you need to focus on, but if it's in the item, then that's fine. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the talent tree. You want to have in tier 1 the speed of light because it's situational and you can use it as a cooldown, and that's gonna save your butt from many tough situation rating, like situations um, such as the fire in twins, or maybe the smoke or a pillar in Texas that you need to avoid, um, or that cold fractures or whatever. Second of all, I mean, some people use Pursuit of Justice, but I'd like to have a cooldown handy so I can use it whenever I want. Fist of Justice also is situational. Some people, you know, choose different one of these, but I'll go with Fist of Justice because in a fight like Tactics, you need to stun lock the what do you call it? The Night Wind, the Twisted Night something something Earth something. Um, on the third uh, tier, you wanna have Sacred Shield. Some people use Eternal Flame, but Eternal Flame will, consume your holy power. You don't wanna waste that. Some other people may use Selfless Heal because getting free flash heal every once in a while is nice. However, I don't see it really beneficial in my raid experience. Sacred Shield is always handy, stays up on you, and it decreases the damage you're taking. On the fourth tier, Clemency is what I look for because it has two abilities for every hand of sacrifice, hand of protection, and that can be really beneficial in raid wise to give it to tanks. The hand of sacrifices, I see I have, like, you can see I have two here, both are macro to different tanks, and as well here both are macro to different healers, for example, to keep them up during a fight. Really nice. Here where the where it gets fancy. I use Holy Avenger in some fights. I use Divine Purpose in some fights. Some people use Sanctified Wrath in fight like Korgath, but I like Holy Avenger because it increases the burst damage you do massively. Um, and it'll help you with Seraphim, and I'll explain that a little bit later. So the whole adventure is basically, it gets you 3 points by every hit. Either you use Crusader Strike, you use Hammer of Wrath, you use Judgment. You will gain three holy power, and that can be real nice to just use it like once or twice at the beginning, and then just spam one ability and Templar Verdict or Final Verdict. Real nice for burst DPS. Divine Purpose is good as well, but it's RNG based. Some fights you'll be topping damage meter with it because the procs are really getting in your favor, and some fights you'll find yourself in the middle of the pack and you'll be wondering and scratching your head, why am I not getting good procs? Sanctified Wrath is good for single target DPS fights. However, I mean, that's my own opinion. If you have your opinion, you can post a comment below and let me know. On this tier, you will use Execution Sentence. I've seen some people using Light's Hammer on Texas Fight, but I'd rather have Execution Sentence on most of the fights, or actually all of them. It's a nice 1 minute cooldown that increases damage and burst you do, especially at the beginning with the Bloodlust and stuff. Now, on the final tier, you want to use Seraphim on a single target fight, Final Verdict on a multiple target fight. For example, I use Final Verdict on Texas, I mean, I use Final Verdict on fights like Dragon Spore, and Seraphim on single target fights like Butcher or Korgath. I use it as well, and Twint. So, but here the tricky part is it's a 15 seconds uptime buff with 30 seconds cooldown. You want to make sure that when you use it during the time that it's getting back to being ready, if you see that it has like 8 seconds or 5 seconds left, do not waste your abilities uh, building up holy power. You'd rather go with just spamming Crusader Strike up until you get 5. If you had like 3 and there's like 2 left and there's 5 seconds or 8 seconds, just keep going with Crusader Strike. So once Seraphim is ready, you use it, you consume all the holy power, you have Exorcism ready, you have Judgment ready, you have Crusader Strike ready, and then to use a Templar Verdicts just to get benefit from every second you're having the buff on. And I'll show you that on my rotation. Um, on Glyphs, you want to have Glyph of Hand of Sacrifice because you don't want to kill yourself, basically. Some people may change this one. I use to just because it's gonna be up most of the time, all the time. Taking 10% less damage is really good on AoE fights and stuff. And you can have the double jeopardy because it increases damage for judgment by 20%. If you use it on a target, then you use it on a different target. The time you use it right after, rather. Some people may use Divine Storm because it heals you and you'll have many procs, but this one will increase your damage, so always go for the damage. On the minor ones, I use the Righteous Retreat. These are pointless. Seal of Blood and Fire from the Heaven, which looks like a holy fire of animation of a priest. In terms of rotation, what I do, I'm not asking you to do that, but what I do, I always start the fight with Sacred Shield before the fight starts. Like when there's 5 seconds left, just pop yourself with a shield. it's never bad. If I'm using Seraphim, then I'm not gonna waste my Arcane Torrent. If I'm not using Seraphim and having Final Verdict, then I'm gonna pop the Arcane Torrent before the fight starts, and then of course you want to use your potion pre pull. And then I have Avenging Wrath, Execution Sentence, Holy Avenger, and Seraphim all macroed on one button because you know it's really nice to have a one button that will trick all um, your offensive CDs. I'm not gonna use Raid Flask, which is the 20 250 strength. I'm just gonna use 200 all stats and show you my rotation and damage. You'll see the damage going crazy at the start, but then it's gonna go down. Um, on raiding, the pull usually go up to 125k, and it'll go down to sustain between 35 and 40k DPS. Anyways, so let's do that, and I'll start. You can see it's doing nice DPS. Now I want you to pay attention. I'm not gonna focus on damage meter now. I just want you to pay attention. Now there's 8 seconds left, so you don't want to burn all your CDs. Holy shit! You just want to use Crusader Strike to build up um, the points for Seraphim, and now you have the rest of the abilities to be able to use it again. So that's kind of my rotation. Of course, it went down now just so I can explain to you guys. I will try to post a video later on my damage and DPS on a raid fight, mythic raid fight, and you'll be able to see more closely on how things goes during raids. I hope you guys liked my video. If you have any suggestions, any thoughts, any um, anything that you want to talk about, just let me know. I'll be happy to answer questions and um, hear your suggestions. Hopefully this video was helpful for you. If not, sorry about that. And feel free to like, this, subscribe, and share. Um, that's about it. Hope you guys like it and have a good time. See ya.